Now the first thing I'm going to do, the easy one, I'm going to show you this little trick, this little nifty trick that works, okay? And here's how it works. To get A, all you do is you look under A, that's X, okay? So what you do, here's the little trick. You go to the original. The black question, the ink one is the original question. And when you solve it, you got to start writing this. You need to set this up by yourself. So you go to the original question. To get A, there's an X there, so you cover X. And you say, well, whatever is below A, I want that to go to 0. So, well, just put X equals 0. So now what you do with this guy, so you cover that and you plug in X equals 0 over here. And then that'll be your A. It'll just be minus 2 over minus 1 times 1, which is just minus 1. So A is going to be 2. I guarantee it. Same thing with B. You go to B. What's underneath B? What's going to make that 0? It's going to be a 1. And so what you do is you go over here, you cover it, and you plug in 1 now. So you got your B, and you're going to go, that's 10 minus 2 minus 2. Well, you have 1 times 1 plus 1 is 2. So it looks like 10 minus 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 over 2, right? 1, 2, 2, yeah. Which equals 3. And there we go. Equals 3. And we'll keep going going forward. It's X plus 1. We know we want X minus 1. We go here and cover it up. And we get, now we plug in X minus 1 because we want that guy to go to 0. So we put in minus 1 now. And so we're going, that's still going to be positive 10. But this becomes plus 2. This is minus 2. And remember, we're covering up the X plus 1. So we're going to have a minus 1. And minus 1 is minus 2. So it's 10 plus 2 is 12 minus 2 is 10, which is going to be 10 over 2 because the minuses will cancel, and it's going to be 5 and equals 5. So that's a nifty little trick. I'm going to show you why that works. Here's why it works. And with all these other questions, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and many others, you'll have to do what I'm doing now. You're going to take the original expression, the denominator, and you're going to multiply both sides of that expression, okay, of that equation by the denominator. Now, of course, everything here on the left side will cancel out, and all you'll get is that. But over here, this one here, this now will equal, it'll be, so you'll have an A, that X will cancel, and you'll have an X minus 1, X plus 1, right? And then you'll have a plus B, let me just write it underneath here, plus B, X times X plus 1, and then plus C times X minus 1. So just to recap, what's in the green rectangle here equals this 3. So basically what you're doing is, you want to simplify this, and what you notice is, hey, look, if I put in X equals 0, right? If I put in X equals 0, this will go to 0. This will go to 0. And then I'm just left with my A, right? So I can isolate my A. I just bring these guys underneath over here. And so then I get 10x squared minus 2x minus 2 divided by x minus A, x plus A equals, x minus 1, x plus 1 equals A. But, so we don't need to do all this anymore. Just this little nifty little trick. So just cover that up. And we're kind of mimicking. It's just like a neat, nifty little trick. Okay, and you can repeat that. Very good. And we're moving on to the second question now. We can do the same thing. Let's do the same thing. We can with this one now, we can do that little trick with this one, and D. But C, we got to do something different. We'll take a look at C in a second. Here we go. So for A, like I said, is X. We want to cover the X, and we want 0, so we put in a 0. So what are we going to get here now? Let me use green here. So I'm going to get A for this new one. It's going to be minus 2. Remember, covering the X is going to be minus 1 times 1, so it's going to be minus 1. So A is going to be 2. A is going to be 2. Do the same thing with B. X minus 1. So we're going to put in X equals 1. Remember, we're covering this now. So for B now, we're putting in X equals 1, right? So we're going to get 6 plus 10 minus 2 over, we're going to get 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 squared is 4. So we're going to get 16 minus 4, that's 12, 12 divided by 4, that's 3, or B equals 3. If you want, you can pause the video and multiply this and multiply this all out and see why this doesn't work. Or we'll take a look at it in a second. But we can't get this one. We can't use the trick on C, but we can use it on D. So we're going to put in x minus 1. So we cover up that whole thing, including the square. And now we'll get the D. We'll put the D here. We'll get the D. We're putting in, remember, x minus 1. That's a cube. So now we're going to get a minus 6 plus 10. The minus becomes a plus 2, minus 2. Remember, we're covering that last one up, and we're putting in a minus 1. So we're having a minus 1. Minus 1 becomes a minus 2. So let's look at this. We got 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 minus 8 equals 4. 4, these minuses kill each other, and we're left with 2. D equals 2. D equals 2. Okay, let me erase all this. That's the quick nifty trick. Now, how do you get that C? Well, you got to multiply it out. Remember, like I did up here before, you take the whole denominator and you multiply everything there on the left side and the right side. And so, of course, on the left side, everything on the denominator will cancel out, and you'll just have what's here. But over here now, this green box over here, this green box now will now equal, well, you're going to have A times x minus 1 times x plus 1 times this guy, right? Because he's got the x will cancel it, but he's going to have an x minus 1 and an x plus 1 squared. It's a little bit messy there. Okay, now the b, we're going to have a plus b. The x minus 1 to cancel out, and he'll be left with an x and an x plus 1 squared. The c will have a plus c, the x plus 1. One of those x plus 1s will cancel out, but he'll have an x minus 1, x plus 1, right? Because he'll have one of them will stay in there. One of them will cancel out, but the other one will stay. And of course, plus d, and what all d will have is a dx and x plus x minus 1. Because d has x plus 1 squared, so when you multiply all this over here, the x plus 1 squared, and that cancels out and just leaves d multiplying by x minus 1. Now this is at the point where you probably learned in school, okay, pick an easy number, put in like x equals 1 or 0. You don't have to do that anymore. I don't think you should waste your time doing that. Because you can quickly just get the